What's up, everybody? Today is going to be epic because I've got the B74.1D Team Associated 4-wheel drive buggy. It's done, it's built, and we're going to go over it. Quick little overview, so let's not waste any more time and we'll get right into this, so let's go. Alright, so I'm going to go a quick little overview of my build and the layout that I have. And following that, I'll go over some tips and suggestions that I have a part of the build process. There's some areas that need attention, some parts that have a little bit of fitment issues. Not really a big deal. Pretty easy fix if you know what to fix. It's a super awesome kit. It's really nice. I actually really enjoyed the build. We'll get started with the speed controller. I have the Hobbywing XR10 Pro G2. And I did pick up the OTA programmer, which is the Bluetooth program that you can connect through your phone, through the app on Apple or Android. And I have that running to my RevTech X Factor 13.5, which I'll be running a spec class. So this will be perfect. And I have a Reedy fan coming, but it will be here probably tomorrow. I have my MyLapse transponder right here, going to my Sanwa receiver RX493 for my Sanwa M17 transmitter. And then I have my ProTech high torque all metal gear servo with the Trinity 2-cell LiPo to power it. And the bottom I went with the Team Associated chassis protector to do the best it can to keep that aluminum nice and least bit of scratching. Sticking to the ground, I have the J-Concept ellipse wheels and tires, so that should do the job pretty well. We'll go ahead and go into some of the tips and suggestions that I have and how I built the car. So when I built the car, I basically built the car by the setup sheet they provided. The only thing that I changed personally was the diff heights. I set them at the lowest point. Otherwise, everything is pretty much what they suggested from the setup sheet. That way I have a base to start with and then I can work from that. So when you get this kit, this is the first thing you need to look for, is this setup supplement sheet. It's a separate sheet that comes in and it has all of the updated information and fixes. It's pretty important because there's some important information in here, especially with the shock limiters and some other parts with the steering. There might be more in the kit you get, there might be less if they fix things or whatnot, but just look for those sheets before you start building or else you're gonna have a hard time. So one of the issues that I had was these arms, front and rear both, being really tight and like they were binding. So this washer right here and these arms, before you even assemble any of this, I would take these arms and these pins and just those two pieces, put them together and just get them to the point where they can just free flow, just fall up and down without any binding or hanging up of any sort. So that way you don't have any issues when you're running your car. There's no binding and you're not having any like traction issues and doing weird things with your car. I did that I actually took a 9/64 size drill bit, which actually fits pretty perfect in those arms, and I just ran it through by hand, just kind of pushing through in and out, putting the pins back in, getting it to the point to where it was finally just free moving. At that point, then it was trial and error back and forth, taking these shims these washers, they're plastic, and having to sand them down a bit because it was just too tight. So I would just take these and sand them down just enough to where you're not getting that binding, and you know, just a little bit at a time, and just, it's kind of tedious, but going back and forth, hooking it up, making sure everything's bolted down properly, and then getting, because you don't want your arms wobbling back and forth. So what I did, I just kept sanding down a little bit, both sides, until I got the arms and everything completely assembled and they were freely moving assembled. So then that was good. Otherwise, it was a pretty good build other than the arms. I think the arms really took me the longest time to sort because it was kind of like put together, take apart, put together, take apart, just to get the arms just right. You just got to remember, if you get new arms, if you break an arm, you're probably going to have to ream those holes out unless they do something later, or you get a different aftermarket arm, which, you know, they might probably have that resolved. My setup was from the setup sheet. Basically, I did change the metal gears to plastic because I'm running just a stock 13.5 class. I lose a little bit of weight there. I think it's like 10 grams for each diff, so there's about 30 grams, I believe. Hopefully next video you guys see will be some type of running and tuning on the track. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for this video. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And guys, don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. Click one of these videos popped up on the screen, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.